Good morning, everybody. Welcome to First Church, First Center in New York. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy spring equinox. People in the 2020s don't probably, well, I don't hear anybody talking about equinoxes too much except a few of my friends who are older. But this time of year, all through human history, you've had people celebrating the equinox, the spring, as a symbol of renewal, rebirth, and just a new start, a new day. In Christianity, the equinox is significant because it falls around the time of Easter. Today is Easter Sunday, which is for Christians the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus. In Judaism, the spring equinox is associated, or this time of year is associated with the holiday of Passover, which commemorates the Israelites' liberation from slavery in ancient Egypt. These holidays, all of them, and I was studying about 10 this past week, ancient religions, cultures, and they all were celebrating around, this pretty much the same last week, the week before now. They're celebrating universal themes of liberation, renewal, and in every case that I could read, they were all, talking about what's new and ushering in what's new, letting go of the things that don't serve us, the patterns, celebration of the day, celebration of the dawn, celebration of, it's just looking forward to what is new. Looking to the east was another theme. I was going to go through all of them, and I thought I would spare you. That's pretty much what I could get as I reviewed them all. In every case, it's about embracing new possibilities for growth, transformation. So this is a timeless message that cultures have been celebrating throughout history. All of them offer messages of hope and encouragement for us to embrace the renewal in our own lives. As we come together today, again, I want to welcome you and thank you for being here. Anyone who's new, there'll be an opportunity after if we're done for people to share, and you can just say hello where you're from, or if you're new. This is a virtual community, and we're now having people come into the building as well. So this is, again, this special day. I was looking at, the spring equinox again, and as I was looking at all these religions, I found that common theme. And then I was thinking, we at the center and in this teaching are always teaching about self-renewal. It's what we do, I think, every Wednesday, every Sunday, every Thursday with our Louise self-healing class. I came across a word that I've heard before. I've seen it in use, but I wanted to be sure I knew exactly what it meant. It was in a tweet that I thought was interesting. And the word was enmity. How many of you don't know what it means? I'm sure most of you do, and I kind of had an idea, but I wanted to. I read this statement, and with the word, so let me define it first. Enmity is defined as a feeling of hostility or animosity towards someone or something. It can also refer to a state of being in opposition to someone or something. Kind of a cool word. I really didn't fully get it. I usually would understand it maybe in context. So the idea of enmity, I don't want it, right? We don't want to have thoughts or feelings of enmity toward anyone, and we don't want to have thoughts or feelings of enmity towards ourselves, if what it means is animosity. God knows we don't want to be hostile towards ourselves and others. That's not what we practice here. We practice seeing the good, the God in ourselves. We practice loving ourselves, learning to love ourselves, accept ourselves, and approve of ourselves. And if we're working it right, our job, our practice is to see the good in everything. And that's what makes us rare birds, because You know, you can turn on the television, especially the past few weeks, and it looks like the world is going to hell. And that doesn't have to be your truth. But, you know, if you let what's, you know, on the internet everywhere and on, you know, news inform you, if that's your reality, that's going to be your reality. So that word enmity, I liked. I don't want to be an enmity or hostility towards myself. And I certainly don't want to have that be my reality towards any single living human being. Our work here is always to let go of, you know, let the sword down, let the, you know, release the need to, you know, go there. Never, never, never criticize yourself. Nothing good will come from it, I promise you. So we become the guardian at the gate of our own thoughts. If we want to renew, if you really want to have renewal on this auspicious day, work on yourself, because the whole world is other referred. And by that I mean everybody's talking about what's going on in China, or what's going on in politics, or what's wrong with their people or their, you know, relationship. And it's just really the wrong conversation for a metaphysical person. Because a person who's working this teaching is really not about any of that type of conversation. Our teaching is about waking up, learning that we are one with Source, we're one with this energy. Our teaching is about, as we teach you every single Thursday night, our teaching is about learning to love, accept, and approve of ourselves exactly as we are. We don't want enmity. We don't want to be opposed to ourselves. Think about that. But we are. See, that's the problem. People, you know, some of my minister friends used to say, we trip ourselves up with our own consciousness, because we teach this teaching, which is all about, okay, there's divinity there in Jimmy who's sitting here, there's divinity in all these technicians, there's divinity in Celia, there's divinity in every single person. Our job is to keep seeing the good in everybody. And as soon as we start to go off track, you know, then we know that we need to get back on track. So we don't want to be in opposition to others, nor do we want to be in opposition to ourselves, because when we're in opposition to ourselves, when we're critical of ourselves, everything starts to go in the wrong direction. Today is a day of renewal. That's really exciting, if you let it be. And this teaching is always about learning to live the affirmative life. This teaching is about learning to realize that this energy, this creative energy, which some of you still call God, is the source within you. You have this divinity within you. Some of you still look to it above in the heavens and elsewhere, but I'm here to promise you, whatever you're looking for is already within you, operating through you as you. So we speak of this renewing, this awakening in every kind of lesson we teach here. The quote that got my attention, that came from Elon Musk, was, "Friendship takes work. Enmity is effortless." I thought, wow, that's a pretty profound statement. He was expressing the idea that it's easier for us to dislike someone than it is to develop a deep and meaningful friendship with them. Our default position is, if they're different in any way, and everybody's different, then somehow they're wrong. You know, we're critical of ourselves and we're critical of others. So it's easier, he said, to dislike someone than it is to develop a deep and meaningful friendship. And I thought about that. Yeah, I meet people, I like them generally, but then as you get to know them, there's things about them that, you know, contrast you. And just because who they are, what they do contrast you, your way of thinking on some things, that doesn't make them wrong, and it doesn't make you wrong. But if our default position is, you know, this enmity, this oppositional nature is effortless, I thought, wow, that's pretty profound. Friendship and learning to love ourselves does take some work. It's the reason Louise Hay was read by 100 million people. she talked about learning to love yourself. And as you really begin to embrace who you are and love yourself, then you can really, truly extend it, not before. Otherwise, I think of the people who went into all the different countries, I won't name them all, with their scriptures and all, and they want to convert people and, think that they're going to make them better just because they've got a book of a certain type of religion. These people were perfect from the very beginning. And when you're bringing your stuff and imposing it upon other people, and you don't have it yourself, what can you give away? If you don't have love for yourself and for the universe and the people around you, what do you really have to share that's worthwhile? So, friendship again, good relationships take work. Enmity is effortless. So I hope everybody remembers that today. The most important thing you can be doing is loving yourself, accepting yourself, and approving of yourself. And then you can be authentically extending that to other people. We have trained ourselves, not our fault, but we have just the same from the time we're practically infants, to be self-rejecting. And so, you grew up in a family, you grew up in an environment, so did I, and I learned a lot of things, and some of it was wonderful, and some of it wasn't so wonderful. So we've trained ourselves to be self-rejecting. We've trained ourselves that we have to look away, a certain way, dress away, a certain way, behave a certain way, to be acceptable, in this culture, and I'm sure it's the same in other cultures. We have to have certain things, drive certain things, be a certain way, and we've trained ourselves, this is what makes us acceptable. It takes quite a bit of effort to build up a genuine, healthy self-esteem, where you're really not concerned about what people think. You're not other-referred. You don't have to have, when I was younger, I'd have to have a Mercedes, or I'd have to have a Jaguar. I'd have to have this. I'd have to belong to this country club. I would have to, there'd be a lot of things I'd have to do to make myself feel like I was okay. And as you get involved in a deeper study of metaphysics, you're going to realize all of that is somewhat meaningless. What we're doing here is to learn to build up healthy self-esteem, healthy self-confidence, and self-love. That would be a real renewal for most of us. It takes effort to build up a positive relationship with yourself where you never criticize yourself. So this was the message that caught my attention from Elon Musk. I liked it because it suggests that if we want to have strong and positive relationships with ourselves and others, we need to be willing to do the inner work necessary to build and maintain the relationships you have with yourself and with others. So here we are on this wonderful day of renewal, a new day. Most of us are no longer involved in the traditional or ancient religions of the past. We certainly honor their contributions to the evolution of human consciousness. Everything that's happened, by the way, has been important to where we are as people now. And we want to acknowledge, for myself and others, the feelings of guilt or possibly shame that I might have as I moved past some of those things, the religion of my youth. And to realize that these feelings, if we're still hanging on, I've got that stuff still built in me that was taught to me, when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I have to realize that these feelings do not serve me in the present moment. And I suggest you all take a look at if you're holding on to any of that. We release the need for guilt and shame about moving forward. And we release the need also for blame. We can't blame the people who raised us. They gave us the best that they could. Most of us, as we practice affirmative living, focus on releasing any negative beliefs or patterns, any enmity that we have towards ourselves and others. We realize it no longer serves us. We release it. We stop it. We stop any and all critical, judgmental dialogues that we have. Wherever you find yourself being critical That's where the mistake is, judgmental. Louise Hay would say, be very careful when you use the word should, and you just directive. You should do this, you should do that. And if you do it to yourself, you're essentially saying wrong. Who you are is wrong. What you're doing is wrong, 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 wrong. And Louise would say, this is not the way to enlightenment. So we learn here to practice the pause. Take a pause to regroup. We center ourselves, and we really recognize that there is one power. And it bears repeating. There's renewing power. And that power is within us. So let's embrace it. Let's feel it. Let's sense this power. And know that it's here. It's in you. It's operating through you. Know that you have your own inner wisdom and connection to this power, this spirit. If you can take that pause as many times as you can, but let's do it now. By taking this time, this moment, to know that you are one with power and you have this power within you. And this power is something that responds to you 24 hours a day. So you might say to yourself, I have power. I have power to use. Life is responding to me right now. It would be good in a day of renewal, and any day actually, to slow down and take this pause and realize that I am one with the one. Please understand, as you get your consciousness leveled up or straightened out, as you get your consciousness brought to a higher level, everything's going to change. There's no division in the mind of God. That's an old phrase. When we talk about the mind of God, we're talking about the universe. The universe is one. There's no division in the mind of God. There will be no enmity, no opposition in the mind of God. God does not oppose. The spirit, the source within you, is not in opposition to anything. It responds to you. There will be no opposition. There is only love and light. Suffering, if we're suffering, is not God ordained. So let us be mindful of that. If we're having states of misery, and we're suffering, this is not of God. So let's acknowledge that. This is not of God, and say, I release this. I release worry. I release unhappiness and strife. I release the need for anything that doesn't serve me. The next statement is kind of profound. I hope you get it. If you don't, listen again. You'll get it eventually. Everything changes because of you. I did have highlights for all these things. I don't happen to them, but everything changes because of you. Nothing changes because of them. Everything changes because of you. Nothing changes because of them. So stop giving your power away to anyone. This teaching's about you and your consciousness. As you elevate your consciousness, you will change the world. In this teaching and in this practice, we cultivate a sense of freedom and liberation. That's what we do. We're on a spiritual journey that's to liberate us from the bondage of self, and so we can experience the God, the good, everywhere, all the time. So let's embrace our journey. Let's embrace as much good as we can conceive. Let's have great visions for our life. Let's know that we deserve them. And you're going to be amazed before you're halfway through. If you want to have results, you simply need to stay the course. To keep at it. Don't quit before the miracle happens, because the miracle is that you're in it and it responds to you. And keep remembering it. You're in it, you're a part of it, and it responds to you. We forget that a lot. There's absolutely limitless possibilities for growth and expansion. There's limitless possibilities for transformation. The thing is, I want to know, if I'm giving you this information and there's something within you that knows it, that I'm one with the one, I'm an inlet and outlet of it, have you made a decision? Have you made a decision to say yes to life? Is there anything within you that's stopping you from having a more wonderful expression of life? I expressed it this way today because we can't keep on talking about other people. If you keep talking about other people as the problem, I promise you, they are not the problem. You are your own problem. Everything changes because of you. Everything changes because of you and your consciousness. Don't try to do it the other way, please, for your own sake. I know we love our friends. We love our families. We love everybody that's in our life, at least for the most part, right? But you can't make any of them be the reason you're not moving forward. From the Old Testament, take up your bed and walk. It's your responsibility and your responsibility alone to take the steps needed to move forward in your life. And here's the question, don't you think it's time? We talk about this always. Today's the day of renewal. Today's the day to be reminded you can have anything, you can go anywhere, there's nothing stopping you. The universe gives you green lights. It responds to you 24/7. This is Easter. This is the spring equinox. This is a day of renewal. It's an exciting day. It's a new day, and you are alive in it. And life is responding to you. If you get nothing else, get that. Don't pray to anything above you because it won't work that way. Life is responding to you and your consciousness. Please don't make your life about other people. Your life is about you. Look to this day, for it is life. I'm going to share a poem to you that was very important to me about 43 years ago. It was read to me every single day for at least a year. And it's titled different things, but it starts out, look to this day. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lies all, the verities of and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of achievement. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Did you like that? It's one of my favorites. Let us be reminded by this powerful message of renewal to live in the present moment, this day. Please don't look past, last week and before. Yesterday ended last night, Raymond Charles Barker so famously said, and if you're having a tough day any day, remind yourself it's never too late to start that day over and put yourself into the present moment. Let us remind us to fully embrace life that's unfolding right now. The past is always a memory. Please don't go there for your own sake. And the future is yet to be realized. So let us make the most out of today, for today is the very life of life. And the only moment, furthermore, that truly matters. Let us look well, therefore, to this day, to what we're thinking right now, and let every step we take be guided by the light and the love, the creative power within us. You have guidance. Allow that guidance to come through. Let's let go of the excuses that we have, the blame of any kind, and the limiting beliefs, the opposition, or even the idea of opposition, the enmity we have towards ourselves or others. Let's take charge of our lives by lifting our consciousness. You have the power to heal your life. You have the power to create the life you desire. The universe, as I said before, is always giving you green lights. It's saying yes to you. You are happening. Life is responding to that you that is happening. Trust in that, the inner knowing that you have. Allow its guidance. This renewing energy is within us all. It's waiting to be directed by you, to be used by you. So invite it in. Whatever has happened, and there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, I know, I hear people call me all the time. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened in my life. Whatever has happened, let it go. Let yourself be alive in this moment and know that you are connected with all the power in the world, of the world, and beyond the world. The past has no power over me. You can say to yourself, I release the past. It has no power over me. I let it go. Release any negative self-talk, any place where you find yourself being critical, any animosity, any place of enmity where you're opposed to yourself or others. You have the power to create a beautiful life and a wonderful new future. Again, look to this day. Now I'm going to bring in Holmes and Emerson. Ernest Holmes said, "The universe is forever renewing itself. Therefore, let us renew ourselves too. Let us look forward to the future with confidence, knowing that we can create what we want." Ernest Holmes, our founder. He also wrote, "True freedom is spiritual in nature. It's a state of mind and heart. You have the ability to let go of the past, and that means yesterday and even what happened last week, every argument, you can let go of it and be fully present in the now." That's if you really want to. If you want to hang on to your grudges and all that and your judgments, you know exactly, if you've been here long enough, it'll take you nowhere you want to go. If you want to experience true transformation, you'll want to be willing to release all the old stories, the judgments, the gripes, all the old tapes. In this teaching I learned from Dr. Bill many years ago, you must be willing to continually trade in the lesser for the greater. So what's the lesser? Judgments, grievances, strong opinions. You must be willing to trade in the lesser to move into this world of good, to move into a world of appreciation and peace where everything is possible and everything is happening for you. We have to do that work, loving ourselves and loving others, if we really want to move forward. If we want to be about the world and have strong opinions about everything going on in this country and in the world, with all the geopolitics and everything that could drive you out of your mind, the economic situation, you can do that. Why would you want to? So we want to be trading in the lesser for the greater. This is a brief life that we're all living. It's going by. As you get a little bit older, you'll see how quickly it's going by. We have an opportunity to live in peace and to have our hearts be open with love and to feel love, express love, share love. If we open ourselves up in these ways, amazing things will be available to us. The kingdom, as we say, is at hand. It's always been here. The only thing is we can't appreciate it or see it because we're all caught up in our stories and our judgments. So we want to be willing to trade in the lesser for the greater. Then Ernest Holmes says, only then will you be opening up channels within you for new amazing things that await you. He went on, renewal is the process of letting go of the old and embracing the new. It's a necessary part of our spiritual evolution. My question to you, are you ready? Are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to claim the freedom and the peace that's rightfully yours? It's time to move beyond simply meditating. It's time for a little bit of action, don't you think? It's time to actively be creating the life that you desire. Freedom, he said, is not a gift. It's a choice you make every day. It's time to choose wisely and claim the life that you deserve. He also said freedom is not something that can be given to us. It's something, again, that we have to claim it for ourselves. We're free of other people's opinions. We're free of the opinions of the world. We're here. You have within you guidance, and we're here to listen to that guidance. We must claim our own power and our own authority to create the life that we want. The key to renewal and freedom is to release the past and be fully present in each and every day, in the now. We must be willing to embrace the unknown also. Life is changing so fast, it's unbelievable. And we have to be willing to embrace the unknown and trust in the power of the universe to guide us. Louise always said in so many of her seminars, I trust the process of life. The process of renewal and freedom require courage, requires faith, it requires us to be willing to take risks and step out of our comfort zones and know that the universe will support us. from the science of mind, renewal and freedom are not destinations. It's a journey. It's an ongoing process of growth and evolution that continues throughout our entire life. Every one of us are capable of creating the life that we want, that we desire. We're all capable of experiencing a new start, a renewal in every day. So it's simply a matter of choosing and keep choosing and keep choosing. Finish each day and be done with it, said Emerson. You have done what you could in any given day. He went on to say, some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely, with high spirit, too high of a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. And Emerson went on to say, what lies behind us and what lies before us are very tiny matters compared to what lies within us. What is within you is powerful. What within you is spirit. What within you is limitless power and ability. You are one with this creative intelligence of the universe. He went on to say, for every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace and joy. Write it on your heart, he said, that every day is the best day in the year. Many people in the New Thought movement were inspired by Ralph Waldo Emerson and his essays. Much of his work encouraged us to trust ourselves, our inner power, and trust in our inner guidance, rather than looking outside or above. Emerson had a deep, deep, deep appreciation for life, and he saw life as a precious gift. He didn't try to conform to expectations of society, or he wasn't much of a people pleaser, but he still had a great, great love for humanity. His writings encourage us to go deeply within our own selves and access our own inner power and follow our own path, rather than simply following what other people tell us to do. I mean, the whole world seems to be other referred. Social media, people are getting addicted, and by the number of likes that they get and the people who approve of their posts, this is really kind of silly. What we're always after here is our own approval, self-acceptance and self-approval. In terms of your power, here's a message. Here's a message of his that I want to share with you on this great day of renewal. The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be. You decide. Ernest Holmes talked of your executive power. You have power to use greater than yourself, of which you are a part, and you can use it. You are caused your own experience. From him, we learn spirituality is not tied to any institution or belief system. Rather, it's a personal experience, and it's a personal journey, and it's going to be unique to everyone. As we move forward, science and spirituality can exist. They can coexist. They will. And we as people are going to need to be open to change, because change is happening in ways that are mind-boggling. Science will help us understand the mechanics of the world we live in. Well, spirituality can help us find meaning and purpose in our lives. It's no secret that people are leaving traditional churches all over the world. It's just a fact. It's happening in New Thought centers as well. I've been observing this phenomena for over 20 years, and there were new statistics even this past week. I'm sure most of you saw them. They were on all the news channels. Though people may be leaving New Thought centers, churches, synagogues, spirituality is always going to be with us. We're in an age of rapid advancement. There's hundreds of millions of people using artificial intelligence now every single day. They're finding answers immediately to very big questions. It's a new time, and people are not resonating with traditional faiths very much. They don't feel they need to go into a building. They don't feel they have to go anywhere to tune in or to worship. And again, this doesn't mean that people are not spiritual or that they're becoming less spiritual. This doesn't mean that they're less interested in learning how to connect with this energy, this source personally. But they have little interest in reciting prayers, hymns, ancient prayers. They don't really want to pray to a higher power above. And they will be looking to learn how to have direct access. And see, that's the thing that was wonderful about Holmes. He wasn't so much interested in building up churches. He was interested in people learning to have a direct experience of this energy, of this God, and learning how to use it. This is the kind of renewal that's going on throughout the world. It is a growing awareness. It is an awakening. It's an awakening towards a spirituality that is more open-minded and focused on personal growth, personal experience, direct experience. Not through saints and intercessors, but direct experience. A direct experience of source that leads us to transformation. Ernest Holmes predicted this, of course. He could have never known what it would look like, but he predicted it. We see this in the popularity of practices such as, meditation, mindfulness, energy work, as well as the increasing interest in alternative forms of healing and self-exploration. Ultimately, the future of spirituality is likely to be extremely diverse, multifaceted, with people seeking out their own unique paths and ways of connecting with Source or the creative intelligence within. Our role here, as long as we're able to keep doing what we're doing, is to practice the teaching, present the teaching, create a welcoming space both here in the room and in our gatherings, a welcoming space for people to explore their spirituality, and encourage people always to look within, because that's where all the action is, and to realize that they have what they are looking for. Reminding people always that they are one with the one life and they have the power to use it. This is the practice, one day at a time, that will revolutionize your life. You have the power to change everything. So let's close knowing that today we are renewed, we're open and receptive to new life, and that all is good. And so it is.